Welcome to the podcast, Chef.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Well, I think most people that are tuning in might be familiar with your last name, especially, your salad dressing line. And so I remember first being introduced to you and your brands by going to Expo West and seeing your salad dressings, and personally just getting so excited that there were going to be clean, healthy salad dressing options at Whole Foods when I eat at the salad bar. Because whether you are someone that grabs a salad at lunch, if you are traveling anywhere in this country, you'll end up stopping at a Whole Foods to grab something to eat. And I was really excited to see that your products were there for me to consume. But I know that business has evolved a lot. So I'd first love to know, how did you decide to get into the salad dressing and sauce game?
That's a great question. And a really simple answer. I originally was a finance guy. I was at Wells Fargo. I was in wealth management. I've always loved food, was always passionate about food. And then somehow, some way, found myself on the first season of MasterChef. And then
So cool.
from being on the first season of MasterChef, walked away from that with a lot of clarity around what I wanted to do, which was I
Mhm.
wanted food. I didn't know what world of food I wanted to be in, but I knew I wanted to be in food because it's something that I was passionate about, something that I enjoyed to do, and I wanted to go ahead and be entrepreneurial in that world. And so when I was on MasterChef, I made my barbecue sauce for about 2,000 Marines down at Camp Pendleton. And Gordon comes up to me after the show and he was like, Sharon, that's the best effing barbecue sauce I've ever had. And I went down on my notepad of like some random, business ideas. And I think 6 months later, I started a barbecue sauce company. And that was the
Wow.
story.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so how did you end up getting to be the salad dressings at the Whole Food salad bar? And the packaging was amazing too. Like that was a huge move.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I'd say I started with sauces, and then from there sort of evolved into our own branded salad dressings at just bottles that you can buy in the produce aisle in the refrigerated set. And I had the opportunity to meet somebody who was really, really fantastic, and still is. He's a close friend of mine. He's still at Whole Foods. Um, Truly passionate about food. We could talk for hours about things that drove us and excited us, in innovation, and it was awesome. Like we were just like two peas in a pod. We had a lot of fun talking. We talked about the salad bar. He's like, dude, like, we're doing all these organic salad, all these organic, having all this organic produce, um, trying to really bring the salad bar to life, make it really fun, make it different. I'm looking at the salad dressings there. I'm like, man, it's just sort of really basic. And you look at the ingredient deck, it's conventional, and the oils in there are primarily canola and or soybean oil. And you're like, okay, that's not really quality, right? And so we got together and we said, hey, how can we make like let's do this. Let's do an organic salad dressing line, but let's also do so in a way that there's a little bit more of a sustainability approach. So we decided to found a company that can produce essentially these hydro flasks, right? Like these type of
Yes.
literally these type of bottles, right? And rather than doing these big plastic bottles that every time you finish using, which he would, at lunchtime, you'd go through three or four of these big 32-ounce bottles. Like, how do we find a way that we're just kind of use less plastic?
Hmm.
And so we're like, let's do this. We went into refillable, these sort of like refillable bags that used 90% less plastic than the rigid bottles. And they kept temperature. And we essentially created this just reusable bottle situation.
Yeah.
Um, and it sort of took off and it was amazing.
And so how long were you able to have your salad dressings at the salad bar at Whole Foods for?
We launched in 2018. I want to
Oh,
say
wow.
2018, and then COVID happened, and every nobody went to salad bars. That shut down real quick. So we're still in there, but with very, very little movement. And then I want to say up until last year.
Okay. And then, so what changed?
Just leadership and direction on Whole Foods front.
Okay.
different direction. They wanted a different line. I would say I love Whole Foods. I'm so grateful to Whole Foods for helping me with my start, for being such an amazing partner over the years. I'll say, it's been an interesting couple of years in terms of Whole Foods direction. I don't know if it's Amazon, not Amazon related, but I know that there's been a big push towards driving more value out of pricing. They used to call Whole Foods whole paycheck, and they're trying to be more of a conventional. I don't know. I don't know if that's working or not working, but that's sort of not my call.
Yeah, so I'm curious your thoughts. So I've been shopping at a variety of health food stores right my whole life. And I've been a health supportive chef for over 10 years. And I've noticed that all of our health food stores, grocery stores where we go to, where we can count on the ingredients being in line with what we'd want to put in our body, what we'd want to share with our family, friends, with our clients. What's on the shelf is changing. The ingredients that we're finding in places that were traditionally health food stores are becoming just like mainstream grocery stores. And I'm finding less and less places that I can go to where I can trust. Almost feels like Erewhon's the only place where you can go and you can trust that your food isn't being prepared with canola oil. And granted, like we all have the ability to look at the ingredients list and see that, but it used to be that you could go to a grocery store, look at the ingredients once, and just trust that it's going to stay that way. Now you have to check every time you're going. Sometimes I wonder if it's just me that's seeing this, but I do wonder if, other people are seeing this too, and they're finding less and less health food stores, so to say.
No, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. I don't know why. I feel like there's a demand and there's a need. I don't know if it just comes down to trying to increase the spread, meaning the profitability along grocery stores and or brands. I'm not really sure what the answer is. It's interesting. I've been in the business for a little over a decade. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a few things. I continue to learn and be humbled by it. Um, any brand that I've seen really take off or do something different, right? They put their heart and soul into it.
Mhm,
Investing, they're promoting, they're putting money back into the brand. Uh,
mhm.
when you see a product on sale at the grocery store, the product, the brand is paying for that. It's not
Yeah,
like the grocery store is just saying, "Oh, we're going to give you a deal on this." Like it's
yeah.
expensive to do so, and there's costs on top of those costs, distributor costs, retail costs, all these other things. And so by the time you get to a place of like, if you can be a category leader in your space, then a lot of these retailers just see that success and then end up private labeling a spin-off version of it with maybe the same or a little less quality at a dollar or two less. That's happened to me in the past, and that's
Really?
happened to a lot of friends of mine in the past. Yeah, and so at the end of the day, I think people are still price sensitive, um, and look for that again, unless you're going to Erewhon. And the majority of our country is trained and built around that. You're looking for the deal, you're looking for the price, you're looking for the value. And it's just weird that we do that with the most important thing that we hold dear is the things that we eat, that we consume, that we put into our bodies.
I completely agree.
You
I
know,
wish people would focus on quality versus quantity,
of course.
because it's all a transfer of energy, but we're not quite there yet. I would love to know, what do you think that we as the consumer can do to support the brands that we love better? Do we need to be ordering directly from their website? Are there websites or grocery stores that are better for us to shop at because it's more supportive for the brand?
Amazing. I love that question. That's an amazing question. I think that's probably one of the coolest and best questions anyone's ever asked me. Yeah, I think, look, anytime you can buy directly from the brand online, I would encourage you to do so because you're directly their customer. And I think the ability for a brand to have a direct relationship with their customers is the best. There's no middleman. But a lot of brands, like for me on the Chef Hack side, all the stuff that I do is highly perishable. and my ability or inability to ship effectively to a home anywhere in the country is very expensive. So I have to rely on a lot of retail partners for my distribution and so on. So for those that have that, I would encourage you to go to the retailers and buy their products there.
What made you decide to get into perishables and frozen foods?
Yeah, great question. It's been an evolution, right? I didn't have the experience and say the know-how of, an entrepreneur that's been in the CPG space, specifically the food space, for years and knows like, oh, I've done this research, that research. I knew that I made a great sauce, and I decided to make a great sauce and sell it to the market, right? And I was like, I'm going to do something elevated. But let me ask you a question: how many bottles of barbecue sauce would you say you buy a year?
So I'm not the right customer because I'm a woman and most women aren't sauce people. Men are sauce people. And that's just my observation as a personal chef over the past 10 years. Women don't want sauce, men want the sauce.
Got it.
Um, so I'm not buying barbecue sauce, but if I look at the men in my life, they're buying barbecue sauce, I would say at minimum every other week.
Oh, wow. Great. Great.
That's what I see.
Okay. On average, in our category, it's a slower category than, say, a highly consumable category like snacks and chips and beverages, right? Like you crack it, drink it, it's consumed within 5 minutes. A lot of times, sauces and dressings, you're using a couple ounces. It goes back in your refrigerator, depending on how frequently you use it, et cetera, et cetera. But where I'm getting at is I started with sauces and started learning more about retail and grocery and so on. And I enjoyed it. But I wanted, again, then from there, I moved into dressings and that became a refrigerated item. And then from dressings, it turned into soups. And from soups, it turned into meals and ready to eat stuff. So it's been this sort of natural evolution. I think naturally because for me, there's more creativity on the entree and the ready to eat stuff in terms of full, complete recipe development. Like that gets me excited. I love it. I love making tasty food that's delicious. And I love the idea of moving into things that are just more consumable. Like the idea is like, hey, I bought this, I'm eating this now, right? I'm eating
Yes.
this right.
Is there is there a particular kind of through line with all the food that you're developing that you want people to understand about your brand and what
Yep.
it's offering them?
Yeah, there are three key critical, I call them our pillars or my pillars in terms of with respect to everything that we do. It makes my job very easy, and it also makes it equally very hard. And that is one, clean ingredients. I won't make anything that doesn't, I won't put on my own family's table. So I don't use seed oils. The only oils I'll use is either avocado oil or olive oil. I'm going to use the fresh. I'm going to try freshest product. I'm going to try to work with my local farmers. I'm going to try to vertically integrate as much as I possibly can. So that's a commitment. Second thing is convenience. I'm the chef. So if you're buying my product, my job's to make it tasty for you and make
Mhm.
it convenient for you. So it's going to be clean. It's got to taste great. And can I save some time in the kitchen for you? Right. Otherwise, why not make it from scratch? Right. So that's sort of those are my three key things that go into essentially everything we do.
So, how does product development start so people can better understand what, let's say they go to the frozen section and they see your meals. Where did one of those meals start? Where did that idea come from? How did recipe testing start? Did it just start with you playing in the kitchen and doing ingredients and dialing it in and then sending it off to other people to test? Or how does that work?
Yeah, there's no clear cut one answer. Sometimes it works just like you said. It's an idea. Sometimes um, I'll tell you, I've been humbled. Some of my amazing partners, you mentioned we were talking offline. You mentioned Costco. I've had some incredible buyers and partners at Costco, and I've been able to bring incredible product to Costco at a great value, and we've sold a lot of product with them. Um, and some of the ideas came in collaboration with some of the buyers. They're like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And in my mind, I was like, "Really? I feel like that's so easy." And it was just such a like truly a humbling and learning experience for me because I'm like, oh wait, I might be overcomplicating things sometimes. You
Yeah.
know, I might be trying to do too much, and some of the ideas were really simple and straightforward, and they were huge successes.
Yeah, what are you hearing from food buyers that they see that the consumer wants, that we as chefs or people in the culinary space aren't getting?
Yeah, I think I hate saying it, but it's so true. Um, Simple. Keep it simple. I have 3 seconds to win someone's attention on the shelf and have them understand what it is, why it is, and how it is. 3 seconds. Keep it simple.
So less ingredients, just better quality flavor.
I wouldn't say less ingredients per se, but just in terms of it could be, but not necessarily. I would say keep it simple in terms of my like the customer's ability to understand what it is, right?
Got it.
So if I'm gonna make this like, I don't know, this complicated sort of dish or something like that that takes a long time or is very difficult for me to understand what it is or doesn't, I can't win my customer's attention in a couple seconds and have them understand what it is, then that's an issue.
Got it. Since
Yeah.
you're in the food space and in a variety of different ways and
Yeah.
obviously have multiple lines of products, where do you yourself like to grocery shop?
Great question. Um, do love farmers markets because that's also just a fun experience and quality time opportunity with the family and so on. Um, I do shop at Whole Foods, I do shop at Costco, and I do shop at Air One. I'd say it's a combination of those and a little bit of Sprouts too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any sites that you order from online that have been really helpful for you or your family in getting food?
Um, Honestly, there was it's I've been we've just been so busy this past year with everything that's been going on. So it's been I can't say in the past year I've done much online shopping directly with the foods. It's just been more of like Instacart, picking up stuff. So yeah.
I understand. What made you decide to move into supplements?
Great question. I saw a need. So my brother and I co-founded Sunny Within, and we just sort of like had this epiphany one day. We're really into health, really into wellness. We're into all the things that we cover today. Like I bleed health and wellness. I train daily. I try to make the best choices. Do I have a slice of pizza with my boys? Yes. So you know what I mean. I'm no like crazy perfect saint in this sense. Like I live a little. I have a cocktail, a spicy marg or something like, of course. Um, but we had this moment where we were talking, like, dude, I opened up my pantry and that's where I kept all my supplements. And
Hmm.
one day, it's like, holy shit, what's in here? It's crazy. I must have like, it's like a little pharmacy. Like
Yeah.
I must have like 85 different things. The things in the back I've moved out of taking. I don't even know why I moved out of taking. It's you know what I mean? It's just like, and then I'm looking at my daily regimen of all the pills and capsules and powders that I'm consuming or have to, and it just became this daunting task. It became
Yeah.
this sort of like really, oh man, do I really want to swallow 35 capsules right now? That sounds awful. And so him and I were talking and talking and talking. Like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a more enjoyable way to do so. And that's where Sunny Within was born. How do we create a simple, clean, effective, enjoyable way to supplement?
And so what's that answer?
Sunny Within.
So why is that different from kind of other options?
Great question. So will there and can there be better? Of course, and we're striving and we'll always push to find better and better ways for improving. It's my commitment to just my journey in life. There's always a continuous improvement in everything that I do, and in Chef Hacks and Sunny Within. But what we're doing with Sunny Within is, first of all, they're liposomal. So they're 5 times more bioavailable to your body than it would be
Yeah.
if you were taking a capsule. So that's a win right there. When you take a capsule or a pill, by the time your body and your stomach can digest it, if you're healthy, you're maybe retaining 40% of that, 30% of that, right? And so liposomal is really effective. Two, I've never met one person that says, "Oh my God, I love taking pills. Oh my God, they taste great. Oh my God, give me more of them," right? And
Sure.
so, can we do this in a gel format that's just an enjoyable experience? And putting on my chef hat, I was up for the challenge.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and so much fun developing supplements that actually tasted good. Like our cognitive has magnesium L3 in it, L-theanine, alpha GPC, lion's mane in there, all amazing for cognitive function. But it tastes literally like a little vanilla lemon cake.
Got it. And instead, that would have been 5 pills for you to take, and
That would have
now
been
it's
12,
dessert. 12. Okay.
to get the same dosage.
Got it. I love that. So you moved 12 supplements into a one pouch, which
One
can
squeezy.
essentially work as like dessert after breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Exactly right. I
Okay.
take it in the morning. I take that daily. It's great. I feel sharp. It's like a daily non-negotiable for me. But it tastes great. And again, it's effective and it's convenient. And I could take it with me everywhere I go. I'm not walking around like, with this massive, I don't even remember those pill boxes that are just
I know.
loaded with things.
Yeah.
I can share it with friends, and it's just an enjoyable, fun experience. And I feel like that's what being healthy and living healthy should be. Right? When we think about that, we want to be sunny within, and that's where that name was born. It's just like, how do we just live daily with this intention of vitality and happiness and joy? And I think supplements are a perfect example of that's not an enjoyable thing, but it's supposed to bring me health. So how do we make this enjoyable? Sunny within.
I completely agree with you. I think everything in your wellness stacking, like if you're stacking a bunch of wellness modalities, if you're choosing certain foods, you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, it defeats the purpose. And I would say, after doing this podcast for so many years, most of the experts I've interviewed have all said that if you don't enjoy the food, if you don't enjoy the practice, it's actually not going to benefit your body. So if you're taking a bunch of supplements and you're not enjoying the process, then it's really not syncing with you and you're just throwing money down the drain.
It's like you should be feeling good every day. And every practice, every movement, every intention you have should be surrounded with positivity, with joy, with happiness. And that's taking your supplements too. And that's truly how Sunny Within was born. As I'm looking at my pantry, and I'm looking at all these pills that I'm taking, and I know they're all good for me. I gotta take this, I gotta
Yeah.
take that, I gotta take it. I'm like, this is not fun at all. There's nothing fun about this. So Sunny Within, that's where it was born.
So you've had quite a heavy year, and you and your family have had to adapt and change and move because of the Palisades fire. I would love to know, like, how have you evolved your wellness practice this year to adapt with like the changes and the stress, while launching a business and keeping yourself healthy?
Yeah, great question. I would say to you, or anybody, think, nothing is easy. Yeah, life is going to be surrounded by ups and downs, and that's just a universal principle. You're going to have your peaks, you're going to have your valleys, you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, you're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses.
Yeah.
Show me one person that doesn't have that, and I'll be blown away. It doesn't exist, right? And this has taught me, and I think, and I hope with my kids and my wife and family, like this is it. We're riding it. This is life. How do we make the best of this? And how do we just stay consistent? How do we stay consistent to the practices, to things that matter, and be consistent, stay positive, smile through it all, enjoy it all. We're in an apartment right now. Our two boys are sharing a room. We're laughing because it's like, oh, they're beat each other up, but like they're gonna look back and be like, remember when we lived together for a year and all we did was yell at each other every night and blah 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 and so on. It's all just a ride. It's all a ride, you know?
So, what are you doing on a daily basis right now? Do you have a workout routine? Do you have little wellness habits that you try to sneak in throughout your week? What's some of, can you break down some of your actual tools that are in your tool belt?
Yeah, let me share a couple things. If my kids watch this, they'll laugh at me because, but dude, I can't believe you're saying this again because this is all I say to them all the time.
Oh,
I'll
really?
open with win the morning, win the day.
Okay.
Win the morning, win the day. I'll say it again and I'll say it one more time. Win the morning to win the day. So
Okay.
it's get up, you lock in, you smile, don't touch your phone, don't look at your phone, put it away, wash your face with some cold water. If you can take a cold shower, take a cold shower. If you have a cold plunge, jump in that cold plunge and remind yourself, yes, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm winning. What a great way to start the day, truly. And from there, I run up. I've got a rooftop at the place, and every morning I have a really fun, amazing practice that I enjoy. Um, it helps me center myself, connect, and I do about a 45-minute meditation. It's a
Wow, that's
combination of breath
impressive.
work and om chants and so on, and
Yeah.
some yoga and some stretching. And so that's right then and there. Those two things set my day up for success. It just allows me to take everything and all that comes at me, whether it's good, bad, challenging, stressful, or so on, and look at it all in a different light. And I've tested this, I've pressure tested this. When I'm not staying consistent with that practice, my reaction to stress, my reaction to challenges and things are very different than how I react when I'm committed into my practice. So I would say if you do those two things, if you can commit to just giving yourself, yeah, I'm not saying a 45-minute meditation, even if it's a 10-minute, just sit in stillness and enjoy your breath. People think and ask me like, oh, how do I meditate? Well, my mind goes everywhere. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just sit down and enjoy the fact that you have time for yourself and enjoy your breath.
Now, one thing I noticed, sometimes it's tough for people when they're in a relationship to take a moment to have their own practice.
Mm,
Does your wife have a separate meditation or morning routine from you?
yeah.
Do you guys do it together, or how did you get to a place where you're comfortable with giving each other your own time to do it the way that works for you?
Yeah, no, she has her own thing, and I think one thing that's helped us in our friendship, our relationship, all in all, is like we give it we give each other our own space on those things. Like, hey, you do you, I do me. If it makes sense, we want to do it together, right? If it doesn't, all good.
How did you develop that spiritual practice of yours? Is there a particular teacher that you learned from? Is it a combination of things that you've learned over the years? How did you mold it and create it?
Yeah. I hit a wall. I want to say about 4 years ago. I checked myself into the ER, I think 3 times, thinking I was like having some sort of a heart attack or something like that. And I work out religiously. I train daily, 6 days a week, maybe sometimes seven. I've done triathlon before, like you name it. I play sports still. Like I'm in. I love it. Like train, all of it. But I found myself really hitting a wall with stress. I did not have the tools to manage stress. And I struggled with my inability to control a lot of things and take things to heart really deeply. And it affected me. And I realized something needs to change because this isn't like, what did I sign up for? I'm trying to, I'm building a company. I'm being an entrepreneur. I have a team. Like, I'm doing all this for all the right reasons. So why does this feel so wrong? Why does this feel so painful?
Yeah.
Um, and something had to change. And I've always been spiritual, but I just leaned into meditation and practices and trying to just learn more, evolve a little bit more. Yeah.
Are there any particular teachers that you love learning from right now, whether it's books that you're reading, classes you're taking online, people you just like to follow on social media that help with that practice?
Yeah, I think a pivotal book for me, one that kind of shifted me into the meditation route was The Untethered Soul by
Oh,
Mickey Singer.
okay.
Phenomenal book, um, beautiful book, eye-opening book, like just such a soft, beautiful book. Highly recommend anybody, big or tall, small, whatever, wherever you are in your life, um, give that book a shot.
I will. I'm always looking for summer reading. Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
someone that's always looking for personal spiritual development books. I think summer's a great time to dive into something like that.
yeah. I highly recommend it. It's an amazing book. Hopefully, circle back with me after you read it, and happy to talk about it because
Oh,
it
cool.
touched me in an amazing way. A big word that has been a mantra for me, especially this past year, with a lot of things that's been going on, is surrender. It's not surrender and giving up. Let's not confuse that. Say, oh, I give up. I surrender. I'm not going to try anything. No, it's just surrender to the world. Surrender to the feelings. Surrender. Just let it all flow through. You don't have to react to everything or try to control everything, right? Just
I've been focusing on that a lot recently too. It's not truly surrendering and it's not letting go, but it's knowing that I'm showing up the best that I can, putting my best effort forward, and then just like letting it go. So the pieces will fall where they're meant to fall. But not being so emotionally tied to the outcome, stopping the force. I think
right.
sometimes uh, I can't almost verbally communicate it, but I had one of my spiritual teachers back in my 20s kind of showed me a visual. One hand's a fist and one hand's the wall. And it's like you're trying to push the wall, you're trying to force things to happen instead of just, putting your best effort forth and letting it flow in the direction that it's meant to flow.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's not surrendering, and I'm not gonna work out every day. I'm not gonna make good choices. I'm not gonna be a good person. You do all those things, but you do all those things without this difficult, like extra stress that you put on yourself, this expectation that you have, this
Yeah.
extra chatter and noise that you have in your head of like, I need to do this or that. You just can be you and be happy with it. Surrender to all the other things that are sort of coming at you, all that noise, surrender to it all. Just let it pass.
So you have this routine to set up your day to win.
Yeah.
How do you let it go when you get home or when you get ready for bed? How do you wind down the physical, the emotional, the mental body?
I'm a huge shower person. So that's my secret. Um,
You
I
wash it away at the end of the day.
yeah, I literally will go shower right before bed.
Yeah.
The point where my kids are like you're showering again. So like, let's say I'll come home or I crushed a workout and it's like 7 o'clock, and I come home and I shower, and then we're hanging out,
Yeah.
we have dinner, etc., and then it's 10 o'clock. I'll go shower again. It's
They
this.
say that is there's a lot of different spiritual teachers out there that say that one of the best things that you can do is shower before bed because you literally wash away the day and anybody's energy and any emotions you've picked up. The water cleanses you and clears it off of you. So there's something there. There's
It's
something there
amazing.
at a deeper level
Yeah,
that
it's amazing.
it's whether it's your physical, emotional, spiritual, your mental body, your etheric body, something craves that cleansing at the end of the day.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. Thank you for teaching me that. But it all makes sense. It all
Yeah.
makes sense because it just that's my biggest therapy. It helps. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that for the past few months is I'll take a shower, like right before bed, I'll shower and then I'll meditate and then I'll go to bed. And as a woman, I don't wash my hair every time I take a shower at night, because then I'll go to bed with wet hair and it gets all crinkly. And I notice a difference in how I feel when I wash my hair and I don't, because when all of me gets cleaned by the water, I feel lighter. I feel better. It truly washes it all away. When I'm holding something back, I can feel the difference. So just be grateful you have short hair.
Yeah. I watch it every day.
You're very lucky. Well, can you share what supplements you love taking right now? because you're so tuned into your body, how you feel, making sure that you're performing every day. What's working for you right now?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'll plug in to my point. I don't practice what I don't preach. So, I'll only make things that I would consume, that I believe in, you know what I mean, and so on. So, number one, I think our longevity formula on Sunny Within is a no-brainer. Anyone that's uh, cares at all about longevity and overall long-term health and wellness should be taking, if not our product, all the ingredients in our product. And that's, it has NAD plus, glutathione, CoQ10, lactoferrin, where people don't know what lactoferrin is, but you've heard of colostrum, right?
Yes.
The lactoferrin is the key ingredient in colostrum,
Okay.
right?
That's good for our gut health.
That's good for gut health, overall vitality, choline, which is found in egg yolks, and so on, MCT oil, and vitamin B12, of course. So that's all in our one longevity wellness stack, right? So I take that every day. Cognitive function for me is critical. So magnesium L-threonate, L-theanine, again, lion's mane, alpha GPC. That's our other SKU. Those are my two that I take every single day. I
Okay.
take creatine every day, and just clean protein, grass-fed whey. I make sure I take a isolate, not a concentrate. It's just better quality. It's easier on your stomach. I would say, that along with what else do I take daily? Uh, yeah, that's about it. And then
Is there
there's
protein that you really like?
well, they're all, honestly, they're all the same. There's a creatine, just creatine monohydrate,
Okay.
5 grams, right? We're actually developing and just about done with our own Sunny creatine
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
stacked with a couple other key ingredients. And I wasn't going to develop it actually, because I'm like, that's pretty saturated. Everyone and their mother has a creatine line out there, but I realized something pretty fascinating. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
So, anybody who's out there who's taking a creatine gummy or a quote unquote liquid version of a creatine or a liposomal liquid, the first thing I would challenge you to do, and I have not found one that does it, we're the first, done a lot of homework on this. If it contains water, if that formula has any bit of water in there,
Yeah.
it is void. You're not getting creatine. So
Okay.
creatine is highly unstable in water after prolonged exposure to it. So if I take creatine powder, mix it in water, and I digest it, I put it in my body absorbs it pretty quickly. But the quality of creatine degrades in water over time. And that
Yes.
creatine
Yeah.
turns into
So
creatine.
someone's buying a beverage on the shelf.
Correct. If they're buying a creatine beverage, if they're buying a creatine gummy, you look at the second, third, or fourth ingredient in creatine gummy, there's water in it. If you're
Interesting.
looking at a lot of the other brands out there that do a liquid version, like in a squeezy bottle of something, I won't name brands, that have creatine in a liquid version and it has water in it, that
I've seen.
creatine is degrading into creatinine over a week's worth of time, and you're not consuming it that quickly, right?
Yeah.
That's been out in the
Not.
market for longer than a week. You can, load this up on ChatGPT and look it up. What happens to creatine in water over time? It will degrade, turn into creatinine, and that is not creatine. That is actually a byproduct that your body creates through your kidneys. So, yeah, I would tell you. So to answer your question is, I don't think that there's a great like one better than the other in terms of creatine. Creatine monohydrate is creatine monohydrate, regardless of what brand you have. But if you are consuming any liquid, gummy, beverage version of creatine, I'd encourage you to not, because you're not getting the creatine.
So, where is the best place for people who are listening to learn more about Sunny and shop it, and then also see when you're coming out with new products?
Yeah, it's just sunnywithin.com. And then, of course, follow us at, Get Sunny Within, on Instagram. We'll post, kind of updates and intel in terms of what new products we have coming out. And I'm really excited because we do have some fun products coming out, that I personally I'm a huge fan of, not only because we developed them, but because I would take these all the time. So I've got a protein product in the works, like I
Cool.
mentioned, a new creatine product in the works.
Yeah.
Been working really hard on a overall women's hormone health product that I think is probably going to be one of the top ones on the market. There's so much good stuff in this formula. So very, very excited about them all, including the ones that we have out right now. And they taste great and they're
And
convenient.
then
So
do you have a vitamin C version?
we do. So we have an immunity, and our immunity is is so our idea is like we didn't want to just do a single ingredient. So I wanted to cram as much as I could, of course, meeting what you're supposed to be taking in terms of the
Yeah.
dosage. Right? So our immunity has vitamin C, has vitamin D3, K2, it has B propolis, it
Oh,
has
yeah.
quercetin, which is a really powerful anti-inflammatory. Um, I know I'm forgetting one. I gotta look it up. Uh, there's one other ingredient that I know I have in there. Let's be probably, oh, and zinc. Boom, of course. And zinc.
That's a good combo.
Yeah,
Got it. So every single one of your packets you can get a bigger bang for your buck.
that's the idea. So we're trying, when people look at our formulas, they're like, oh, it's $80 for, say, a 30-day supply. But our idea is like, if you take every single ingredient that we have in our formula and try to buy them in like separately, it's about half the cost. You're saving on packaging. You're not buying a bottle of each and so on, another box of each and so on. So it's actually really an efficient, effective, and affordable way to do it.
Yeah, and then it just gives you more shelf space back and it makes the whole process easier. And we all know, especially at summertime, if you travel or just try to get away for a weekend and then you have to pack all those supplements, that's like the reality check right there.
Exactly right. And that's where this is all born from. Like this is awful. And to your point
Yeah.
earlier, so you said, it's been proven that if people don't enjoy what they're doing, then it's not, it's hard to stay consistent in that, right? If something's not bringing you joy, likely most people are going to fall off of it because it's not fun. And we,
Well, and I love these supplements in these squeeze packs because it feels like I'm getting dessert after lunch, or it feels like I'm getting dessert after breakfast. And it kind of like delights you that you're getting this extra little treat. But it's really just your supplement. So I've enjoyed this evolution in the supplement industry.
and I think I'm looking forward to where the future goes. And I think that this is an area that we're going to see a lot of exciting innovation through because again, we all want to live long, healthy, happy lives.
Yeah.
But how do we do that in a way that brings that joy, that makes it easy, makes it convenient, makes it effective, and so on, right? How do I get a 6-in-1 immunity stack? When you mentioned the vitamin C, like how do I get all that with everything else I covered? Just in one yummy squeezy, right? Pineapple
Yeah.
passion fruit.
Because it's just like with all wellness hacks, we don't want to spend 3 hours in the morning doing it or 3 hours at night doing it. We need
Correct.
to be able to incorporate this all into our actual life so we're enjoying our lives. Um, that's kind of where I'm at too right now. It's like just taking inventory on everything and how can we create more efficiencies, enjoy it more, get the best bang for our buck. Time to clean things up and simplify so we can get out there, like the poster behind you, and just enjoy life, like have a beach day, live. So I would love if you could maybe leave our listeners with maybe one more health or wellness or food tip that they can consider adding into their life.
Yeah. Um, I may have said it, but I'll repeat it. There is no such thing as perfect. So to sit here and tell you what the perfect body looks like, what perfect health looks like, there doesn't exist. So let's acknowledge that,
Yeah.
accept that, and surrender to that. Okay.
Yeah.
And from there, right, just be consistent. Just be consistent. Another amazing book I read a while ago, and it was I'll just say it talked about the 1% rule. And if I can leave anybody with this, like I think that's really helped me and continues to help me, guide me. 1%. Can I just be 1% better today? It's not as overwhelming. It's not as intimidating. It's not like, hey, I eat this way and now I've got to cut all this out and I got to start this whole new diet and it's going to cost me this much more. And I've got a meal prep, I've got a meal plan, and that's a lot, right? No, just
Yeah.
1%. can I just do 1% more? Can I say no to this just today when usually I would, right? Can I say yes to eating this or taking this, right? Can I say yes to just one workout this week? 1%. 1%, baby. That's it.
Well, I'm impressed that you stay as consistent as you do with your workout and your health. Where can people go to continue to follow you and see your health and food adventures?
Yeah, just Sharone Hakman. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on my social. I go through sprints, but it's just
Yeah.
my name, Sharone Hakman. Um, I will be doing like a really fun summer edition of shooting some really fun in the kitchen video content and some
Oh,
fun
cool.
plating and dishes. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on the show today, Sharon.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. All the best to you. Stay healthy, stay beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.